Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato samma sambuddhassa. Retreat series, Dhamma talk number 10. The last Dhamma talk we were talking about mental defilements, kilesa, mara. Okay. Mental defilements, the executioner. So to eliminate or to get rid of this kilesa mara, one need to practice. Okay. And what do we practice? And in here is first and foremost, you must overcome kama sukha. Kama sukha is sense pleasure or sense comfort. That's the first one. Because if you don't overcome this sense pleasure, or if you don't abandon this sense pleasure, you can never have the pleasure of renunciation, nikkama sukha. Okay. Those are both pleasure or bliss or comfort, you can say. One belongs to this lokiya, this world that we live in, kama sukha, all the pleasure of the senses. The other one belongs to the lokotara, sukha or bliss or happiness. Those two cannot coexist. So if you want to experience or if you want to have this pleasure of renunciation, one must be able to abandon this sense pleasure. So in retreat especially, how do you abandon sense pleasure? What it is first and foremost is all the yogis who are in retreat do not seek or do not try to maintain the comfort. That is the thing. Because we always live every day with a certain degree of comfort. In the retreat is like a mini renunciation. You renounce all the sense pleasure and you go forth to practice. And when you practice that, first and foremost is you must not seek or maintain the comfort. That is the first thing, to get the sense pleasure. So we are looking for this bliss or pleasure of renunciation. To do that, first of all, we renounce comfort. And in here, we have already discussed sila, precepts. Okay? Precepts is the first step we take in. What is precept? It's the reframing or restraint. Reframing or restraint. Reframing of the precepts, okay, and also a certain degree of restraint of the sense pleasure in the retreat. In retreat, we observe 9 precepts. In other words, there's a lot of reframing and also giving up a sense of comfort. You sense as a sense of comfort of food, smell, taste, touch, tongue. Even in bed, you don't sleep on a very comfortable, soft, cushy bed. That's what we start with. Sila is the first step to this renunciation. And when we are observing Sila, what happened was, this Sila or precept has the power to eliminate all the gross form of misdeed. In other words, transgression, transgressive nature in terms of speech and deed. Sila can take care of it. Any transgression that one commit through deed and speech, Sila can maintain about it. You can abandon it. But if you want to abandon the obsessive nature of deeds, obsessive transgression in terms of thought nature, Sila is not sufficient. One have to practice samadhi or samatha, concentration or fixed meditation. You need to practice that. That will take care of or eliminate the obsessive nature of thoughts or transgression. But the latent nature of transgression, which is you don't even know that you have these kilesa in you. But when a right condition or situation arises, suddenly these kilesa arises. That's called latent. So as it is latent, as you cannot even observe in the form of deed, in the form of speech, or even in the form of thoughts, you can't observe it. It's not there. Only it arises when the condition arises. To eliminate that, one need wisdom. One need wisdom. Insight or wisdom. And when you are practicing vipassana, you are eliminating a partial elimination of these latent transgression. Vipassana insight. Vipassana insight, or the knowledge of the vipassana. They will eliminate partial amount of kilesa. But if you want to totally eliminate, the total elimination of kilesa can only be done with Ariya Magga. Vipassana jnana, in other words, vipassana wisdom, will partially eliminate the latent form of transgression. But Ariya jnana, or which means Magga, path, only the path wisdom can totally eliminate total elimination of kilesa, or these killer or executioner. So in that way one should understand Sila will eliminate transgressive nature of kilesa in terms of deed and speech. Samatha meditation, concentration meditation, will eliminate the obsessive nature or transgressive in terms of thoughts, kilesa. And vipassana jnana will eliminate partial elimination of kilesa. Only the insight, wisdom can eliminate latent form. They can eliminate partially, but not totally. And total elimination of all kilesa, both transgressive or obsessive or latent, can be done with Ariya jnana. In other words, the wisdom of the path, wisdom of the noble path. So stage by stage one need to practice for each. That's why first and foremost the foundation is a Sila. You need to practice Sila. So when you are practicing this, what do? First and foremost is, if you want to have this vipassana insight or Ariya wisdom. There's one thing is you constantly applying your mind to the object that is arising at the moment. That's it. That's the actual job, the job that you need to execute. You constantly apply the mind towards the object that is arising at the moment. One after the other, one after the other. That is the way we need to do in terms of execution. So that application of mind towards the object of the present moment, you have to do repeatedly. That process of applying energy so that the mind can be on the object of observation. What is that application of energy? That is called effort. So in other words, effort is absolutely required. But one must be applying constantly on that. And also we know applying the mind towards the object is also known as another word called vitakka. Application directly, vitakka is applying the mind directly onto the object. And there's another word, we call it sammasankappa. Sammasankappa is also applying the mind towards the object that is arising at the present moment. So there are three. So it seems like they are all quite similar, but they are not. They are different mental factors. Vitakka is one, and also sammasankappa is one, viriya is one. On the surface it seems like it, but this application of mind towards the object constantly, it needs effort. That's why effort can be defined as, in terms of job description, what is viriya? Viriya is application of energy so that the mind can be on the object all the time. What is vitakka? Vitakka is in a samatha meditation. Samatha meditation, what is it doing? It's applying the mind onto the object constantly. But now there's a difference now. The difference is, vitakka is you choose a specific object that you like. Just one object or two objects, a pair, a twin. And then you repeatedly apply it onto that object. The same object again and again and again. So, what it is totally focused and fixed on it, and you apply the mind. And that is called vitakka, and it is related to samatha meditation. And sammasankappa. Sammasankappa is, again, inclining the mind or applying the mind towards the object repeatedly. Now, that is where the details become different. When you call sammasankappa, the object is not an object of your choosing. Whatever object that is arising at the present moment, that's one thing. And also, when you are applying onto that object, the purpose is not to fuse with the object. The purpose is to know the object, to understand the object. In details, they become different. On a surface level, they sound like they are all the same. Vitakka, sammasankappa, viriya. But if you look deeper, it is different. The function is the same, but the specific nature and purpose and benefits is different. As such, one need to understand. But regardless, let's call it, you are applying or directing the mind towards the object that is arising at the present moment, repeatedly again and again and again. So effort. So in here, whenever you apply like that, what is needed? That's called effort. What is needed is you must be precise. Okay? The object that is arising and the mind that is aware of it must be precise. Know exactly when it arises, know exactly the stages of transformation, know exactly when it ends. That's called precision. Accuracy is really required. It's utmost important to be precise, because only when you have that accuracy and precision, because you must have a perfect, accurate aim onto the object, beginning to the end. That's called aim. Only then, through mindfulness or correct mindfulness is established. If your aim is not precise, that is not the perfect mindfulness. It may be a mindfulness, but it is a weaker form of mindfulness. Or it might not even be a mindfulness, because your awareness might be before the object, or your awareness might be after the object. Then if that's the case, simply it's a reflection, not mindfulness. So precision becomes very important. The aim, the precision. And when it is precise, suddenly sama sati, correct mindfulness, is established. And only when samasati is established, automatically kanika samadhi, momentary concentration, is established. They go hand in hand. But to be able to have this concentration, you must have the perfect, precise, correct mindfulness. Then, and that is totally dependent upon the precision of the mind onto the object from the beginning to the end. It's very simple, straightforward, but to get the perfect, to be perfect, it's required a lot of exercise and training again and again and again and again. So only when you have this concentration, then later insight will follow. That is the step-by-step how it goes, what we need to do. First of all is effort, application of effort, so that you can do it repeatedly. You send the mind towards the object constantly and try to aim it as perfect as possible. And when it becomes precise, mindfulness established, sati is established. When it establishes, concentration also arises together. And that concentration will assist to see the true nature or the insight of the object that is arising. All go with cause and effect, cause and effect. And if you miss in one, you miss all. Only when you can do like that, then the kilesa is pushback. Kilesa is eliminated. But at least for that one moment, you can go there. Let's say here is kilesa, lobha, dosa, and moha. Whenever you have the perfect and precise application of mind onto the object, then perfect mindfulness established. Perfect, I call it perfect, is sama, correct or right, is established. Only then it is established. And whenever that is established, what happens is the whole series of effects, consequences arises. Whenever there's the effort, what is effort doing? Effort is you are trying to get onto the right object at the present moment. In other words, you would not be on the wrong object. Wrong object means it might be a thought, or in the future, or in the past. That's a wrong object. but in the present object, exactly. So if you can apply directly onto the right object, you have eliminated yourself to be hooked up with. Okay. Kama vitakka. Kama vitakka is application of mind onto the sense objects. You don't get onto the wrong track anymore. So what it is the effort has a power to push back the kilesa. In other words, in a strict sense, it is pushing away all the other objects that are related with the sense desire. That is the exactly. But in a way to talk is, viriya, effort, push back the kilesa from that perfect present moment, precise moment, it push away. When it push away, what happens is, you are exactly there, and then there's a mindfulness arise. And mindfulness is, we all know, it acts like a guardian. It acts as a protector. It guards you and it protects you. That's the job of mindfulness. That's the function of mindfulness. It guards and it protects you. From what? Again, from kilesa. So first of all, effort, push back, and then the sati, guard and shield and protect you from kilesa. And then the next one, samadhi. What does samadhi do? Samadhi is, the nature of samadhi is like, it has a quality like fire and water when it comes to kilesa. Whenever there is a concentration samadhi is established in that domain, at that period, at that time, kilesa cannot exist. And if kilesa exists at a time and a place and a spot, concentration cannot exist. That is how they do. So kilesa occupy that domain and totally keep the kilesa out. Concentration occupy the domain and keep the kilesa out. So in other words, these are all different mental factors. Viriya has a function to push away the kilesa. Mindfulness has the function to guard and protect you from kilesa. Concentration, totally eliminate and make sure the domain is free from kilesa. Each one does their own job, but everything is, these are different tools to fight against kilesa, mental defilements. That's how one goes. And again, all these can be done only if at a precise aim, accurate aim. If you don't have a precise aim and accurate aim, they cannot do their job with full efficiency, with 100%. So of course, you might be able to, let's say, push away kilesa. Okay? You might be able to push away kilesa. But as your effort is not too strong, if the effort is not too strong, and if the aim is not too straight, mindfulness is weak. Weaker mindfulness come in. If that's the case, weaker concentrations come in, and if that's the case, weaker way or obscure or blur way of seeing and understanding the objects come in. So you might be able to, at that moment, you are not thinking about anything related with greed or lobha. You might be able to maintain and stay without any dosa. There's no lobha and dosa. Let's assume that. Okay. But as your aim is not precise onto the object, when you see the object, when you experience the object, what happened was, you can see partially, you can experience partially. In other words, seeing and experience is a little bit weak or obscure. That nature of being weak or obscure, of knowing the object, as you don't exactly understand it, that means the third kilesa, what is that? Moha. Moha is not eliminated. Because if there is no moha, you will see the object, you will experience the object with perfect clarity and fully. But now you can only experience it partially. That means there's a certain degree of moha is left. So that is why it is very important to have a perfect aim, accurate aim, and precise aim. When you have that perfect, precise aim, you not only eliminate lobha and dosa, also moha is eliminated. So simple, but you need an ardent effort. You need an ardent effort. Again, we keep on talking about effort, ardent effort. In this effort too, one has to be very careful. It is not that you just put everything you have got into that effort. That must be the right effort. Right effort is not too much, not too low. That is needed. Because if you put excessive effort, I'm putting ardent effort, but when you become excessive, what happens is you created a situation of restlessness. You become restless. You're grinding and pushing too much effort, you become restless. When you become restless, the mind cannot sit, or the mind cannot land, or the mind cannot grasp the object. They just hover around the object. That is what happens when the effort is too much. And then when there is not enough effort, laziness come in, sloth and torpor come in, and you can't be with the object. So when we say effort, ardent effort, strenuous efforts, forceful effort, it also means a balanced effort. But that effort is a lot stronger than the ordinary effort that we put in many things. Okay, we put great effort in many things, but it is stronger than that. But you must be aware it should not become excessive. Otherwise, you cannot land on the object, or you forget the object, one or the other. Restlessness or sloth and torpor. That will come in. So a balance, okay? Ardent but balanced effort is required. Now we keep talking about this effort. Better than, a lot stronger than average effort. How can we get this effort? How can we apply this effort? How can we get her right aim? That's become a question. How can we create that? It's easy to talk about. And in here, to be able to exert that kind of effort or energy, first and foremost, one needs to know the benefits of what you are doing. You must know the benefits of what you are doing. You're practicing something, or you are doing something. Whatever you do, there's a result. One must have the clarity or full understanding of what kind of result you will get. That is the first thing. We all know in the beginner's class, this is what the Buddha gives us. There are 7 benefits of them. 7 of them. I won't recite them all of the 7. But one thing is, first one, let's only pick up the first one. The first one is what? Purity. Purity. The minds become pure. The purity of mind. So when you observe an object at that moment, okay, you have no likes towards the object if you're observing with mindfulness. And you have no dislike towards the object. That means you have no lobha or dosa, no greed or no anger. And at the same time, if your aim is precise and correct and follow from beginning to the end, you thoroughly know the object, you completely know the object. That means you have a full understanding, that means you have no moha. So at that one moment of observation, you have no lobha, no dosa, no moha, no greed, no anger, no delusion. At that one precise noting. And that means your mind is pure. That's a purity of mind. The mind is pure. So, when the mind is pure, that is the certain moment that you establish. Of course, we know we have to repeat again and again and again. And when the mind is pure, what's happening at that moment? Purity of mind. At that moment, you have no suffering. Because likes and dislikes are the one that just create some sort of a bias and suffering or stress. When you like, you put some effort for that like, and there's a stress. When you dislike, you put some effort for that or counter that dislike, there's a stress. And when you don't understand, when you are confused, when you are with moha, your energy is dispersed. You are stressed. Stress, stress, stress when you have lobha, dosa and moha. When you have no lobha, no dosa, no moha, when the kilesa is not there, there is no stress. In other words, purity of minds, in other words, it means there is no suffering at that moment. Okay? And if there is no suffering, how can you look at it the other way? If you have no suffering, you are in peace. Okay? That's one follow the other. First of all is the perfect observation that created purity of mind. Purity of mind created freedom from suffering. Freedom from suffering create peace. And that process, that peace is just that little moment. But repeatedly, if you can prolong that series of purity, no suffering, peace, purity, no suffering, peace, repeatedly come in, you arrive to a station that is called cultured mind. Cultured mind arises. If you can repeatedly produce purity of mind, freedom from suffering and peace in that one noting, and if you can create a million notings of those things, automatically the cultured mind arises. Your mind is very developed, your mind is cultured. That cultured mind, that repeated process is called bhavana. So when you are practicing bhavana, the Buddhists have 3 trainings in one approach: dana, generosity; sila, which is precept; and now we are talking, the whole process is called bhavana. Dana, sila, bhavana. And this is bhavana. What does bhavana create? What is the outcome? What is the manifestation? The cultured mind. Automatically that person becomes very gentle, very polite, none rushed, none brushed, none hushed. It's bhavana. It's all a link. And all from what? Applying the mind towards the object that is arising at the present moment with precise aim. That's all. The actual work is only that. But now you see how the links go. Everything is a cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect going on. So the cultured mind arises there just by simply practicing it. So when you see that, what are we doing? We are actually executing a program which will allow us to partially eliminate the mental defilements and finally total elimination of mental defilements. You got the cultured mind. No, in here we started with effort. What we are talking about is effort. From that effort, I said you must know the benefits, and I'm showing the benefits in a different trend. In a practical way, I'm showing the benefits rather than reciting it. Yeah. Benefits. Now you understand the benefits. That is what you get. And once you know these benefits, now you must ask yourself, do I really want this freedom from suffering? Do I really desire this peace? Do I really want and desire seriously about this freedom from suffering, peace, and cultured mind? You must ask, really ask. In other words, you strip down yourself and ask that question. And if the answer is yes, at that moment you have a mental state called chanda, noble desire. If you cannot answer, no, free from suffering, fine, it's okay, sounds good, peace sounds good. Yeah, if I get it, fine. If I don't get it, I move on and do that. That means you do not have that chanda, noble desire. Without that noble desire, it is hard for you to proceed on a full throttle way. Hard for you to proceed full throttle way. Of course, you can still proceed, and you will proceed in a mediocre fashion, and you will get the mediocre results, and you will keep on living a somewhat mediocre spiritual life. That's what it is. Now we are talking about something as Buddha taught. We are going to practice to escape completely from all physical and mental suffering and attain Nibbana, and where all form of suffering cease to exist. Okay, that is it. That's the key one, the key question one. Do I really want it? And when you really want it, you have that chanda, noble desire. And to have that noble desire, you must have, or you must understand all the benefits that comes from this practice. And then there comes another one before that. When you are practicing this procedure, this practice, this formula, this mindfulness, okay, do you have faith and confidence in this practice? Is this practice really, as Buddha has claimed, it will eliminate all suffering? You need saddha. Okay. First of all, you have saddha. And then once you have a saddha and the benefits go hand in hand. And then when the benefits are deeply understood, and if your confidence is high, then the chanda arises. Chanda or desire. What desire? Desire to eliminate, in one way, is all mental defilements. Why? Because we want to be free from all suffering. And when you have all these little ducks in a row, what happens? Effort just arises. You don't have to just struggle to put it. Everything based on that chanda, based on the desire, automatically energy arises in your body and you just keep on doing and doing and doing. That's how that is how one can apply a balanced effort. But sometimes when your saddha, faith is too strong, at that time what happens? You tend to put excessive effort. So keep that in mind. When the effort comes in, not to be excessive, not to lack, but in a balance, but forceful enough so that you can keep your mind on every object that are arising at the present moment. So one need to do that way. And once the effort is applied repeatedly, now you don't have much of a struggle to apply that effort or energy, and you know what it comes. After effort, it becomes sama, sati, right mindfulness, sama samadhi, right concentration, and then followed by insight. When the maturity arises, when the boiling point arises, the effort or the insight simply just unfold. And all it needs is repeated observation, bhavana, multiplication, multiplying, developing the mind, how to engage with the object that is arising at the present moment. So that's how one leads to the other and it goes. So in here, you know what we are doing. And what we are doing is we are practicing the foundation of mindfulness, satipatthana. In a scriptural term, all the description I have just told you is we are practicing satipatthana vipassana. So satipatthana, mindfulness. So as we are practicing satipatthana and we have go through bit by bit in a very brief fashion, we go every step and we look into it. And if you look into it, you'll find this satipatthana, this foundation of mindfulness, is the easiest meditation method you can have. All that you need to do is observe the object that is arising at the moment. That's it. You can forget all the other adjectives and mental factors and mental states and everything. Just simply observe the object that is arising at the moment with precision. That's it. So this is one of the easiest, I think it's the easiest meditation method one can apply. No complication, no intricate formula whatsoever. And also, it is the easiest and simplest. Very simple to practice, very easy to practice. These are the qualities of foundation of mindfulness. And also, it is the surest way of attaining the objective. The surest way of attaining the objective. What is the objective? To keep the mental defilements away. We have talked details how each mental factors operate against these mental defilements. So in other words, the result is sure. Not only the result is sure, you can experience the result immediately. Buddha said one of the nature of the Dhamma is you can have the result immediately. That's what it means. What does it mean by immediately? We already explained it. When you are observing with precision and accuracy, okay, right mindfulness established, right concentration established, insights unfold. At that moment, you have no lobha, no dosa, no moha, which means you have no suffering, which means you have peace. At that moment, You don't have to wait long. It is maybe only a fraction of a second. You already have the result with you. It is the most immediately you can experience it. But with one noting, two notings, of course, you cannot really feel it. You cannot sense it. But it is there regardless. But if you can keep that observation one after the other without a break and without a gap for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you can really feel the bliss of that freedom from kilesa, freedom from suffering. You can experience it. All that you need is perfect balanced effort so that the application of mind on the object has no gaps and no breaks. So this foundation of mindful sati, simplest method, easiest method, surest method, and you can experience the benefit immediately. And also it is the very comprehensive. Okay. You don't need to study great sutra after sutra or abhidhamma and so on. There's the formula given, and that formula, that exercise is very comprehensive. So in every way, if you look at it, simple, easy, sure, immediate result, very comprehensive. That is Satipatthana, foundation of mindfulness. And all that you need to do is to be able to apply your mind on the object that is arising at the present moment with precision, and understand it, experience it without thinking, without reflection, without analyzing. It's one of the most powerful meditation method, and that is discovered by the Buddha and taught us. So in short, what we are talking today is just a brief explanation to cover the scope of foundation of mindfulness from the beginning to the end. It covers every aspect of it. Let's call it a snapshot on the foundation of mindfulness. May all of you be able to practice Satipatthana Vipassana, full foundation of mindfulness as a tool to practice Vipassana or insight meditation, and may you be able to attain freedom from suffering, great bliss and peace, and a cultured mind to help the humanity as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Imaya dhammanu dhammapati patiya Buddham pujemi. Imaya dhammanu dhammapati patiya Dhammam pujemi. Imaya dhammanu dhammapati patiya Sangham pujemi. Adha imaya patipatiya Jara maranama Parimoche sami. Idame punya Asawekya Wahang hodu. Idame silam Mega palanya nasa Pichyo hodu. Imano punya bagam Sabha sadanam Dema Sabbe sada Sukhida hontu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham Pujami. Dhammam Pujami. Sangham Pujami. Thank you very much.